Exodus 28.
Then bring near to you Aaron your brother and his sons with him, from among the people of Israel to serve me as priests. Aaron and Aaron's sons, Nadab and Abihu, Eleazar and Ithamar. And you shall make holy garments for Aaron your brother, for glory and for beauty. You shall speak to all the skillful whom I have filled with the spirit of skill, that they make Aaron's garments to consecrate him for my priesthood. These are the garments that they shall make: a breastpiece, an ephod, a robe, a coat of checkerwork, a turban, and a sash. They shall make holy garments for Aaron your brother and his sons to serve me as priests.
They shall receive gold, blue, and purple, and scarlet yarns, and fine twined linen. And they shall make the ephod of gold, of blue, and purple, and scarlet yarns, and of fine twined linen, skillfully worked. It shall have 2 shoulder pieces attached to its 2 edges, so that it may be joined together. And the skillfully woven band on it shall be made like it, and be of one piece with it, of gold, blue, and purple, and scarlet yarns, and fine twined linen. You shall take 2 onyx stones, and engrave on them the names of the sons of Israel, 6 of their names on the one stone, and the names of the remaining 6 on the other stone, in the order of their birth. As a jeweler engraves signets, so shall you engrave the 2 stones with the names of the sons of Israel. You shall enclose them in settings of gold filigree, and you shall set the 2 stones on the shoulder pieces of the ephod as stones of remembrance for the sons of Israel. And Aaron shall bear their names before the Lord on his 2 shoulders for remembrance. You shall make settings of gold filigree and 2 chains of pure gold, twisted like cords, and you shall attach the corded chains to the settings. You shall make a breastpiece of judgment in skilled work. In the style of the ephod you shall make it. Of gold, blue, and purple, and scarlet yarns, and fine twined linen shall you make it. It shall be square and doubled, a span its length, and a span its breadth. You shall set in it 4 rows of stones. A row of sardius, topaz, and carbuncle shall be the first row, and the second row an emerald, a sapphire, and a diamond, and the third row a jacinth, an agate, and an amethyst, and the 4th row a beryl, an onyx, and a jasper. They shall be set in gold filigree. There shall be 12 stones with their names according to the names of the sons of Israel. They shall be like signets, each engraved with its name for the 12 tribes. You shall make for the breastpiece twisted chains like cords of pure gold. And you shall make for the breastpiece 2 rings of gold, and put the 2 rings on the 2 edges of the breastpiece. And you shall put the 2 cords of gold in the 2 rings at the edges of the breastpiece. The 2 ends of the 2 cords you shall attach to the 2 settings of filigree, and so attach it in front to the shoulder pieces of the ephod. You shall make 2 rings of gold, and put them at the 2 ends of the breastpiece, on its inside edge, next to the ephod. And you shall make 2 rings of gold, and attach them in front to the lower part of the 2 shoulder pieces of the ephod, at its seam above the skillfully woven band of the ephod. And they shall bind the breastpiece by its rings to the rings of the ephod, with a lace of blue, so that it may lie on the skillfully woven band of the ephod, so that the breastpiece shall not come loose from the ephod. So Aaron shall bear the names of the sons of Israel in the breastpiece of judgment on his heart, when he goes into the holy place, to bring them to regular remembrance before the Lord. And in the breastpiece of judgment you shall put the Urim and the Thummim, and they shall be on Aaron's heart when he goes in before the Lord. Thus Aaron shall bear the judgment of the people of Israel on his heart before the Lord regularly. You shall make the robe of the ephod all of blue. It shall have an opening for the head in the middle of it, with a woven binding around the opening, like the opening in a garment, so that it may not tear. On its hem you shall make pomegranates of blue and purple and scarlet yarns around its hem, with bells of gold between them. A golden bell and a pomegranate, a golden bell and a pomegranate around the hem of the robe. And it shall be on Aaron when he ministers, and its sound shall be heard when he goes into the holy place before the Lord, and when he comes out, so that he does not die. You shall make a plate of pure gold and engrave on it, like the engraving of a signet, holy to the Lord. And you shall fasten it on the turban by a cord of blue. It shall be on the front of the turban. It shall be on Aaron's forehead, and Aaron shall bear any guilt from the holy things that the people of Israel consecrate as their holy gifts. It shall regularly be on his forehead, that they may be accepted before the Lord. You shall weave the coat in checkerwork of fine linen, and you shall make a turban of fine linen, and you shall make a sash embroidered with needlework. For Aaron's sons you shall make coats and sashes and caps. You shall make them for glory and beauty.
And you shall put them on Aaron your brother, and on his sons with him, and shall anoint them, and ordain them, and consecrate them, that they may serve me as priests.
You shall make for them linen undergarments to cover their naked flesh. They shall reach from the hips to the thighs, and they shall be on Aaron and on his sons when they go into the tent of meeting, or when they come near the altar to minister in the holy place, lest they bear guilt and die. This shall be a statute forever for him and for his offspring after him.
Exodus 29.
Now this is what you shall do to them to consecrate them, that they may serve me as priests.
Take 1 bull of the herd and 2 rams without blemish, and unleavened bread, unleavened cakes mixed with oil, and unleavened wafers smeared with oil. You shall make them of fine wheat flour. You shall put them in 1 basket, and bring them in the basket, and bring the bull and the 2 rams. You shall bring Aaron and his sons to the entrance of the tent of meeting, and wash them with water. Then you shall take the garments, and put on Aaron the coat and the robe of the ephod, and the ephod and the breastpiece, and gird him with a skillfully woven band of the ephod. And you shall set the turban on his head, and put the holy crown on the turban. You shall take the anointing oil, and pour it on his head, and anoint him. Then you shall bring his sons, and put coats on them. And you shall gird Aaron and his sons with sashes, and bind caps on them. And the priesthood shall be theirs by a statute forever. Thus you shall ordain Aaron and his sons. Then you shall bring the bull before the tent of meeting. Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on the head of the bull. Then you shall kill the bull before the Lord at the entrance of the tent of meeting, and shall take part of the blood of the bull and put it on the horns of the altar with your finger. And the rest of the blood you shall pour out at the base of the altar. And you shall take all the fat that covers the entrails, and the long lobe of the liver, and the 2 kidneys with the fat that is on them, and burn them on the altar. But the flesh of the bull, and its skin, and its dung, you shall burn with fire outside the camp. It is a sin offering. Then you shall take 1 of the rams, and Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on the head of the ram. And you shall kill the ram, and shall take its blood, and throw it against the sides of the altar. Then you shall cut the ram into pieces, and wash its entrails and its legs, and put them with its pieces and its head, and burn the whole ram on the altar. It is a burnt offering to the Lord. It is a pleasing aroma, a food offering to the Lord. You shall take the other ram, and Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on the head of the ram. And you shall kill the ram, and take part of its blood, and put it on the tip of the right ear of Aaron, and on the tips of the right ears of his sons, and on the thumbs of their right hands, and on the great toes of their right feet, and throw the rest of the blood against the sides of the altar. Then you shall take part of the blood that is on the altar, and of the anointing oil, and sprinkle it on Aaron and his garments, and on his sons and his sons' garments with him. He and his garments shall be holy, and his sons and his sons' garments with him. You shall also take the fat from the ram, and the fat tail, and the fat that covers the entrails, and the long lobe of the liver, and the 2 kidneys, with the fat that is on them, and the right thigh, for it is a ram of ordination, and 1 loaf of bread, and 1 cake of bread made with oil, and 1 wafer out of the basket of unleavened bread that is before the Lord. You shall put all these on the palms of Aaron, and on the palms of his sons, and wave them for a wave offering before the Lord. Then you shall take them from their hands and burn them on the altar, on top of the burnt offering, as a pleasing aroma before the Lord. It is a food offering to the Lord. You shall take the breast of the ram of Aaron's ordination, and wave it for a wave offering before the Lord, and it shall be your portion. And you shall consecrate the breast of the wave offering that is waved, and the thigh of the priest's portion that is contributed from the ram of ordination, from what was Aaron's and his sons. It shall be for Aaron and his sons as a perpetual due from the people of Israel, for it is a contribution. It shall be a contribution from the people of Israel, from their peace offerings, their contribution to the Lord. The holy garments of Aaron shall be for his sons after him. They shall be anointed in them and ordained in them. The son who succeeds him as priest, who comes into the tent of meeting to minister in the holy place, shall wear them 7 days. You shall take the ram of ordination and boil its flesh in a holy place. And Aaron and his sons shall eat the flesh of the ram and the bread that is in the basket in the entrance of the tent of meeting. They shall eat those things with which atonement was made at their ordination and consecration. But an outsider shall not eat of them, because they are holy. And if any of the flesh for the ordination or of the bread remain until the morning, then you shall burn the remainder with fire. It shall not be eaten, because it is holy.
Thus you shall do to Aaron and to his sons, according to all that I have commanded you.
Through 7 days shall you ordain them, and every day you shall offer a bull as a sin offering for atonement. Also you shall purify the altar when you make atonement for it, and shall anoint it to consecrate it. 7 days you shall make atonement for the altar and consecrate it, and the altar shall be most holy. Whatever touches the altar shall become holy. Now this is what you shall offer on the altar: 2 lambs, a year old, day by day, regularly. 1 lamb you shall offer in the morning, and the other lamb you shall offer at twilight. And with the first lamb, a 10th seah of fine flour mingled with 1/4 of a hin of beaten oil, and 1/4 of a hin of wine for a drink offering. The other lamb you shall offer at twilight, and shall offer with it a grain offering and its drink offering, as in the morning, for a pleasing aroma, a food offering to the Lord.
It shall be a regular burnt offering throughout your generations, at the entrance of the tent of meeting before the Lord, where I will meet with you to speak to you there. There I will meet with the people of Israel, and it shall be sanctified by my glory. I will consecrate the tent of meeting and the altar. Aaron also and his sons I will consecrate to serve me as priests. I will dwell among the people of Israel, and will be their God. And they shall know that I am the Lord their God, who brought them out of the land of Egypt, that I might dwell among them. I am the Lord their God.
Exodus 30.
You shall make an altar on which to burn incense. You shall make it of acacia wood.
A cubit shall be its length, and a cubit its breadth. It shall be square, and 2 cubits shall be its height. Its horns shall be of 1 piece with it. You shall overlay it with pure gold, its top and around its sides and its horns. And you shall make a molding of gold around it. And you shall make 2 golden rings for it. Under its molding, on 2 opposite sides of it, you shall make them. And they shall be holders for poles with which to carry it. You shall make the poles of acacia wood, and overlay them with gold.
And you shall put it in front of the veil that is above the ark of the testimony, in front of the mercy seat that is above the testimony, where I will meet with you.
And Aaron shall burn fragrant incense on it. Every morning when he dresses the lamps, he shall burn it. And when Aaron sets up the lamps at twilight, he shall burn it, a regular incense offering before the Lord throughout your generations. You shall not offer unauthorized incense on it, or a burnt offering, or a grain offering, and you shall not pour a drink offering on it. Aaron shall make atonement on its horns once a year. With the blood of the sin offering of atonement, he shall make atonement for it once in the year throughout your generations. It is most holy to the Lord.
The Lord said to Moses,
When you take the census of the people of Israel, then each shall give a ransom for his life to the Lord when you number them, that there be no plague among them when you number them. Each one who is numbered in the census shall give this, half a shekel, according to the shekel of the sanctuary. The shekel is 20 gerahs, half a shekel as an offering to the Lord.
All right, blessings. We're going to be moving on to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 43. Ezekiel 43, and we're going to begin in verse 10. Ezekiel 43, verse 10.
As for you, son of man, describe to the house of Israel the temple, that they may be ashamed of their iniquities, and they shall measure the plan. And if they are ashamed of all that they have done, make known to them the design of the temple, its arrangement, its exits, and its entrances, that is, its whole design. And make known to them as well all its statutes, and its whole design, and all its laws. And write it down in their sight, so that they may observe all its laws and all its statutes, and carry them out. This is the law of the temple.
The whole territory on the top of the mountain all around shall be most holy. Behold, this is the law of the temple. These are the measurements of the altar by cubits, the cubit being a cubit and a handbreadth. Its base shall be 1 cubit high and 1 cubit broad, with a rim of 1 span around its edge. And this shall be the height of the altar, from the base on the ground to the lower ledge, 2 cubits, with a breadth of 1 cubit. And from the smaller ledge to the larger ledge, 4 cubits, with a breadth of 1 cubit. And the altar hearth, 4 cubits, and from the altar hearth projecting upward, 4 horns. The altar hearth shall be square, 12 cubits long by 12 broad. The ledge also shall be square, 14 cubits long by 14 broad, with a rim around it 1/2 cubit broad, and its base 1 cubit all around. The steps of the altar shall face east. And he said to me,
Son of man, thus says the Lord God, these are the ordinances for the altar.
on the day when it is erected for offering burnt offerings upon it, and for throwing blood against it, you shall give to the Levitical priests of the family of Zadok, who draw near to me to minister to me, declares the Lord God, a bull from the herd for a sin offering. And you shall take some of its blood and put it on the 4 horns of the altar, and on the 4 corners of the ledge, and upon the rim all around. Thus you shall purify the altar and make atonement for it. You shall also take the bull of the sin offering, and it shall be burned in the appointed place belonging to the temple, outside the sacred area. And on the 2nd day you shall offer a male goat without blemish for a sin offering, and the altar shall be purified as it was purified with the bull. When you have finished purifying it, you shall offer a bull from the herd without blemish, and a ram from the flock without blemish. You shall present them before the Lord, and the priests shall sprinkle salt on them, and offer them up as a burnt offering to the Lord. For 7 days you shall provide daily a male goat for a sin offering, also a bull from the herd and a ram from the flock, without blemish, shall be provided. 7 days shall they make atonement for the altar and cleanse it, and so consecrate it. And when they have completed these days, then from the 8th day onward the priests shall offer on the altar your burnt offerings and your peace offerings, and I will accept you, declares the Lord God.
All right. That was the Haftarah with Ezekiel chapter 43, verses 10 through 27. Now we're going to move on to the Brit Chadashah, and we're going to be in the book of Hebrews chapter 10, one of my favorite books, by the way. Book of Hebrews chapter 10, or sorry, chapter 13, verses 10 through, I believe, 17. Yep. Here we go.
We have an altar from which those who serve the tent have no right to eat. For the bodies of those animals whose blood is brought into the holy places by the high priest as a sacrifice for sin are burned outside the camp. So Jesus also suffered outside the gate in order to sanctify the people through his own blood. Therefore, let us go to him outside the camp and bear the reproach he endured. For here we have no lasting city, but we seek the city that is to come. Through him, then, let us continually offer up a sacrifice of praise to God, that is, the fruit of lips that acknowledge his name. Do not neglect to do good and to share what you have, for such sacrifices are pleasing to God. Obey your leaders and submit to them, for they are keeping watch over your souls, as those who will have to give an account. Let them do this with joy and not with groaning, for that would be of no advantage to you. Pray for us, for we are sure that we have a clear conscience, desiring to act honorably in all things.
All right. All right. Blessings, everyone. So good to see everyone here tonight. We're definitely going to get into this parasha and really deal with and get a better overall understanding of what I like to think of as why we shouldn't neglect to go to or assemble together at the house of Yah. We live in a day and age today where people just do what they want to do, period. That's just where we are. There's no respect for the house of Yah. There's no respect for honoring basically anything that has to do with Yah's house. When it comes to Yah's house, it's the last on the list. It's the least of things that people want to do. We count the times, or we count the minutes, the seconds, the hours, until it's over. And so that's where we are. And so there needs to be a return to respecting authority. Yep. There's no respect for authority today. We believe that we are the authority, that everything ends and begins with us. And what's interesting to me, though, is not just we don't respect authority, but what's interesting to me is the response to those who have been given the authority. The response to those who have been given authority, especially godly, biblical, spiritual authority. The response of people to the authority that has been given to individuals. We respect so many other things and so many other people, but when it comes to respecting the man of Yah, there's no respect for the authority that has been given to him, not her. Yep. But one day, keep breathing, keep waking up. There will come a time when people will need the man of Yah. And oh, what it would be like to return to those individuals the respect, the response that they've given us. You reap what you sow. Is that principle at work? You reap what you sow, or should we throw that out when it comes to the man of Yah? You see how that works? So the principle works, except with the man of Yah. Oh, what it would be like. Oh, the look on the faces of those when the tables turn who need the man of Yah. And if we could give what was given to us, you reap what you sow. Oh, wait. That doesn't apply to the man of Yah, right? We can't apply that to the man of Yah. You're supposed to be loving and kind at all times. You're supposed to be enduring. You're supposed to be patient. You're supposed to be all of these things, long suffering. But wait, where is that respect? Where is that response to the man of Yah? Interesting, isn't it? Oh, how the tables will turn. And so this is why scriptures teaches us Tetzaveh, you shall command. Tetzaveh. In this Torah portion, guys, Yah appoints Aaron and his sons as priests. Yah describes the priestly clothing, which is very interesting. It's this godly clothing when you're entering to the temple. Lord knows we need to return to that. Some of the stuff men and women are wearing today, just no respect. It shows no respect. Some people say, well, it's not about the outside. I beg to differ. I believe that the outside is a reflection of the inside. It's just a mere reflection of what's going on the inside of you. So there it is. So God describes the priestly clothing, the godly clothing, and he explains how to properly sanctify the priest. How to properly sanctify the priests. Aaron is commanded to make, you shall command. Aaron is commanded to make incense offerings to Yah every morning on the altar. He explains that once a year, Aaron will make an offering. Notice that. Notice Aaron was only able to go into the Holy of Holies, where the altar was, only once a year. Can someone tell me who was the other person that was able to go into the altar? Aaron was only supposed to go once a year. Who was the other person? Anyone?
I don't think I know the other person, but the once a year is that atonement, correct?
Absolutely. It was Moses. Moses and Aaron were the only two that were able to go into the Holy of Holies. Aaron was only able to go once a year for atonement, but Moses was able to go anytime he wanted. And so we're going to get into this tonight. And I do want to mention this, that the sons of Zadok were also added to the priesthood. And one of the things, or one of the reasons why they were added, is because they were a righteous, holy group of individuals who demonstrated this desire to draw near and to minister unto Yah. And this is why the priesthood was given as also to the family of Zadok. Oh, what a blessing it is to have families like the family of Zadok, who their desire was to just draw near and minister unto Yah. Does that even happen today? Are there families like that today? I don't mean just the daddy, not just the preacher in the family, but I'm talking about families from the grandmama, from great grandmama, big mama and them, all the way down to the new generation of children. Says that the family of Zadok was added to the priesthood because of their desire to specifically draw near and to minister to the Most High. So we're going to get into that. And if you want to reference that, that is found in the book of 2 Samuel. You can write this down if you like. 2 Samuel chapter 15. And also 1 Kings chapter 1, verse 32 through 45. So that will be 2 Samuel 15. You can read that entire chapter. As a matter of fact, you can read 2 Samuel 15, the entire chapter. 1 Kings chapter 1, the entire chapter. Which will tell you just how righteous and faithful the family of Zadok were. And so, yeah, very, very interesting story we have there. All right. Without any further ado, let's deal with and jump right into this Parashat tonight. Parashat Tetzaveh, which is you shall command. So what we usually do is we like to start in the Brit Chadashah and then work our way back to the Torah. So I'm going to open it up tonight and give individuals an opportunity to chime in and to talk about, to ask, to comment, mention, or even to raise questions regarding the content, or even to share their confusion about what we read tonight. And so we definitely want to hear you participate, not just be a innocent, quiet bystander, but to participate in your own learning and understanding. And so I know that there aren't that many that are here tonight, so we're not going to be long at all. Look, this parasha is not for me. I read it, listened to it, studied it. So hopefully this conversation will bless those of you who are listening. And, all right, here we go. We're opening it up. Blessings. What say you?
Blessings.
Blessings.
So I am looking at this resource that I used, and a question arose about why Aaron's descendants were being placed in a position to serve in the temple instead of Moses. So because you brought up something interesting too, that the only time Aaron could go into the most holy of holies was once a year during atonement, but it was Aaron and his sons who were had the garments made for them and were gonna do all this service every day, which was the lighting of the menorah and everything. But so a piece of the reason that Moses was not given this authority or these positions is because, I guess I'm asking or stating, maybe because he was the one that was able to talk to Yah on a more frequent basis, but also because of him being disobedient and him not being able to pass over into the promised land?
Referring to Moses?
Right.
So I'm sorry, can you repeat the question one more time? Sorry.
So Aaron and his sons were given all these duties in the temple,
Okay.
as opposed to Moses being the one. But I think I'm teetering on whether or not that was because Moses held just a different position and he was able to go in and speak to Yah on a more frequent basis, or was it more so because he was disobedient when he spoke to the rock? I mean, hid it instead of spoke to it, and he wasn't allowed to go into the promised land anyway. So that, because it wasn't Moses's descendants, his sons, that were told to do this work, but it was Aaron's. And technically, I'm thinking, Moses was the chosen one. He's like the what is it called? I can't think of the term. You know how they say the foreshadow of the HaMashiach, right?
Okay. Yep.
Type of thing. So I don't know if you understand my question, or maybe I'm just stating that out loud, something that's being noticed.
It could be a little bit of both. But I think it probably has something to do with Levi, their original Levite, I should say. And I'm wondering, I mean, that's actually, I'm taking that as a question. That's actually an awesome question. Because Levi was the third son, I believe, of a fourth, I don't know, of Jacob. And trying to think.
Who's the third son?
Was he the third? Okay. But I'm just trying to think, was there anything in scripture that specifically set Levi and his descendants apart? Because I don't believe that Moses was a descendant of Levi.
Moses and Aaron are brothers.
So then, yeah, but are they from Leah?
They are Levite, yeah.
Okay. So Levi is Moses. I don't know if Levi, because I know in Moses it just says a certain.
No, they're Levites. I have to find the family tree that I have here somewhere, but they are Levites. So Levi had Gershon, Kohath, Merari, Jochebed, and Jochebed and Kohath had Amram. Amram had Miriam, Aaron, and Moses, directly from Levi.
Okay. Well, Levi
was his grandfather, great grandfather. Father. Yeah, Levi was the great grandfather.
Right. And even the Levites, I believe, within that family, they all had, because you said they had Kohath, Gershom, and Merari.
And Jochebed, yep.
And so they all had different roles and positions. Like the Gershonites, they did something different, something specific. The Kohathites, they could only carry, I think they could only carry the furniture. And they all had different positions and roles to play. I don't know if that has something to do with it.
Well, no, I'm speaking more along the lines of Moses was the one chosen to carry out all of this. Let my people go. Aaron was there as a support and to help speak for him because he was nervous. He had a speech impediment. But Aaron and his sons were the ones that were appointed as priests. But Moses had a son too, Gershom, not Gershon. So Moses and his children were not the ones that were set apart as priests, but Aaron was. And I was stating that it's possible because of his disobedience when he hit the rock again, or instead of speaking to it.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, I mean, Aaron was down there helping them build the golden calf. He was collecting gold.
Oh yeah, and Aaron's sons messed up. They got burnt up. I don't even think it happened yet. It's coming.
Right. but even in the book of Exodus, even earlier as we read, I think was it Exodus 12 or no, it's coming up. Exodus 32.
Yes, it's coming up.
It's coming up. But before that, why didn't Yah choose Moses and his son? That's a good question.
Yeah, I was just curious. But other than that, there's another thing that came up in this resource that I use. It's called a year.
So wait, did that research? I'm sorry, did that resource raise that question, or are you raising that question based on the resource?
Well, it says that the Jewish sage Rashi states that. Well, they're making a statement, but it made me question it. The statement that the Lord at first wanted Moses to be the Kohen Gadol, but because he refused to lead Israel in the incident of the burning bush. Oh, okay. So I'm wrong. I read is the burning bush. He said he chose his brother. So this is like speculation from a Jewish sage. Now I said the wrong event. He said the burning bush. Sorry, I had to go back to my book. So yeah, I mean that's just interesting to consider. I'm not certain if that's the case.
I think in we just listened to, I think it was, we started with chapter 28, listening to Exodus. And I think it mentions, it just says that he chose. It doesn't say why. So if you see here on the screen, it says, and took thou unto thee Aaron, thy brother, and his sons with him from among the children of Israel, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office, even Aaron, Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar, Aaron's son. Yeah, it doesn't say why. It just says that he chose them.
So would the Talmud be a place to find any other descriptive pieces for these commands? I know you've been using those.
I believe so. It could possibly explain why, because they would give an opinion on that.
So the other thing from my resource that I was reading about was that it's a connection between this Torah portion, Tetzaveh, and Purim.
Interesting.
So it says on the Sabbath before Purim, the weekly Parashat is supplemented with the Zachor, which means remember. And the reading is Deuteronomy 25:17-19, which Yah commanded the people of Israel to remember the evil of Amalek and to eradicate it from the face of the earth. And this is done because some of the Jewish sages teach that Haman was a descendant of Amalek. So that would have been a question that I would wanted to raise and do some research on to see if Haman was a descendant of Amalek, only because, I mean, it's just making a statement. It doesn't actually show. It says that some Jewish sages teach that Haman was a descendant of Amalek, but is there proof of that? So I was curious about that. I can show you my resource. Let me see. That I use when I do the tour sometimes. Let me see. What am I doing here? I don't know what I'm doing. Solo.
I'm going to look up something real quick too.
Oh, damn. I'm tripping. Do you see that?
Hold on, are you showing something on the screen?
Just a picture in my box.
Hold on, let me highlight your. A year through the tour. Okay.
Yeah, I use the resource online, that Hebrew for Christians. So
yes.
Resource with them.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go here to Midrash Exodus, which is
Ain't that cool?
Shemot 28. Yeah, I would have to really do some study and take time to look for this information. But I'm sure there's something written um, regarding why he chose Aaron and his family. Um, yeah. Yeah, I would definitely have to look further into that. A good question though.
What is the first thing we would do if I wanted to find out if Haman was a descendant of Amalek?
I think the first thing you could do is go to Google and ask that question.
That's what I'm doing.
Yep. And then you can go to the first place where Amalek is mentioned. And find out, did Amalek have sons, and you could trace his line. But I'm sure it wouldn't be difficult to find out where he's mentioned. Actually, Amalek was mentioned in a few parashas ago in Exodus 17.
Mm-hmm. They went and fought him.
Yeah. So
This Deuteronomy, because he attacked them, right?
yep, he attacked. The sad thing and the wicked thing that he did. He attacked the people in the rear, the older people, cowardly. Let me see. Wait, did I say 17?
Deuteronomy 25.
Oh, 17:8. 17 verse 8 here. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's when Moses held up his arms. That's when he prevailed. And let's see. So Haman, huh?
Yeah, I'm doing a word search for Amalek in the scriptures right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be an interesting study. Now, what is the point of, is that the connection between, what connection does Amalek and Haman have again?
It says that the Jewish sages teach that Haman was a descendant of Amalek, and the connection was Tetzaveh and Purim. So I know that the holy days are on different dates every year because the moon phase and how the calendar is, the Hebrew calendar. But it says that the weekly Parashat is supplemented with the Shachor, which means remember, and that's Deuteronomy 25:17-19, which is saying to remember the evil of Amalek. And I think they're trying to make that remember the evil of Amalek and how he attacked you. That connection is being probably made towards Esther and how he was trying to cast lots to find out when they would destroy him, but it ended up getting flipped on him. So I'm speculating on that piece because that's all that I see written here is that that was the connection for Purim.
Let's look in this verse right here. Let me show you this verse because that connection in Esther chapter 3. So look at this. After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman. Look at this. The son of Hammedatha, the Agagite. Let's look these up because those kinds of
the Agagite.
Yeah, those kinds of like lineage. So who was Hammedatha? Let's see. Okay, he was Haman's father. Now let's look this and see. So now we got to go back and see if Hammedatha was an Agagite. Who were the Agagites? Okay, so let's see this. This is how I trace it. Who were the Agagites?
King Agag, the King Agag of the Amalekites. But it said, I mean, this is a Google search. I don't know.
But that's
yeah.
But see, that's so you can trace that though. We can trace it because
for the scripture.
Agag. You see what I'm saying? You see how that works? Yeah. Look at this.
No.
Agag, a title of the Amalekitish kings. So yeah, there is a connection.
I see.
King of Amalek. You see that? That was an easy one.
Yeah, but they don't give all that background information. It just says that they teach this. So just because the Jewish sages are teaching that, I'm like, how do I know that's true? That's why I wanted to ask.
Right. Now let's go. Now then you can search the scriptures everywhere that Agag was mentioned.
Oh, I have to go back over here. Let me see.
Look at this. 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel 15:8. And he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites.
Mm-hmm.
There it is right there.
Booyah.
Yeah. Here it is again. 1 Samuel 15:20. Agag, king of Amalek.
So it's two names for the same. Agag was the king. That was his name. But he was an Amalekite.
Right. And remember, Amalek was a title. It was a title also. I think that's what it said here.
Amalek was a person. No? Yeah, Amalek was born to, and Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son, and she bare to Eliphaz Amalek. These were the sons of Adah, Esau's wife. Genesis 36:12.
Yeah, Agag was a title of
The king.
Yep. That's what it was.
And Amalek is from Esau and them.
And Esau is from Abraham. Was it grandfather? So Esau
was Jacob's twin.
Yep. And they were Hebrew.
Yep.
So that's interesting. All Hebrews are not Israelites.
No, they are not.
No. Isn't it interesting to see how brothers and families can be at such odds with each other?
Yes, this is a fact.
In your own family, people hating on you.
Those are my two noticings that I had this week.
Good. Parents, I hope we got to and answered at least one of them. I wanted to mention something about the Urim and the Thummim. I believe that is in Exodus 28. Was it verse 30? Yeah. So it starts in verse 28. And they shall bind the breastplate by the rings thereof unto the rings of the ephod with a lace of blue, that it may be above the curious girdle of the ephod, and that the breastplate be not loosened from the ephod. And Aaron shall bear the names of the children of Israel in the breastplate of judgment upon his heart when he goeth into the holy place for a memorial before the Lord continually. And thou shalt put in the breastplate of judgment the Urim and the Thummim, and they shall be upon Aaron's heart when he goeth in before the Lord. And Aaron shall bear the judgment of the children of Israel upon his heart before the Lord continually. So I want to look this up and find out what was the purpose of the Urim and the Thummim. Have you heard of this before?
That's a good question. I didn't think of it. I was looking at the breastplate and the stones that represented the tribes, but no, I did not look up the Urim and the Thummim.
Because if he's going in bearing the judgment of the Israelites, the Urim means lights, stones kept in the pouch. Look at this. These were stones kept in the pouch of the high priest's breastplate, used in determining God's decision in certain questions and issues. Very interesting. That's another connection to Purim.
Yeah, this is also in my resource. It's talking about these two lights and perfections, stones used to discern the will of Yah.
Now that's very interesting. Where did they get that from? Was that something that was just instituted in the book of Exodus, chapter 28?
You know,
it seems like it is, because they're telling you about the clothes that were created for Aaron, the high priest, because no one else wore this except Aaron, I believe, because he was the only one that went in, because he was the one, like I said, in 28. the Urim and Thummim, that they shall be upon Aaron's heart. Now we know that casting lots was also a way that many of the Israelites, through the generations, all the way down to the book of Acts, that was used to determine the will of Yah. Remember in the book of Acts where Judas, the disciple or the apostle, he was questionable whether he was truly an apostle, but he was numbered among them. After he committed suicide, how did they determine who was going to be the next apostle? Lots.
Yes.
Which is related to the Urim and the Thummim. But I'm trying to find is there any mention of casting of lots with the Urim and the Thummim?
Well, the description that I have in my resource, may I read?
Yep.
It says the Hoshin of the high priest that was worn over the ephod contained two special gemstones called the Urim and Thummim. Urim ve Thummim, lights and perfections. And then it gives the scriptures. These stones were used to discern the will of Yah in some cases. And it says First Samuel, Ezra, and Nehemiah. Those are some places to look. Some have claimed that the Shekinah would cause the Urim and Thummim to light up and shine upon the Avni Hoshin, or the 12 gemstones in the Hoshin that represented the 12 tribes of Israel. Since each stone was inscribed with the name of the tribe of Israel, the letters illuminated on the Hoshin would reveal an answer to a question posed by the high priest. And this description makes me think of that scene in, what was that movie? One of the Indiana Jones, the Raiders of the Lost Ark, when they was looking for the Ark of the Covenant, and he tried to do the ceremony, and I don't know what was lighting up. It's been a while since I saw it, but it's saying that those two stones were supposed to light up and shine on the breastplate, and light up the chosen gemstone, since there was an inscription on each gemstone to say which tribe it was.
Interesting.
Right.
Yeah, this makes this very interesting. The use of the Urim and Thummim, because but I think one of the differences is they use this to discern the will of Yah. I think that's the big difference there. Because the Israelites weren't the only ones who cast lots to do that.
Yeah, but are you stating that lots were being cast at this time as well, or is this just a different way that was similar to the casting of lots?
Let me give you. That's a good question. So let me go to my reference scriptures, because I just did a word study on the casting of lots. How appropriate. So let's go to Leviticus 16. Leviticus 16 and verse 8. So again, this is Aaron, and this is after they gave him the ephod with the breastplate and the Urim and the Thummim. It says, and Aaron shall cast lots upon the two goats. Remember, for the atonement, one lot for the Lord and the other lot for the scapegoat. And Aaron shall bring the goat upon which the Lord's lot fell, which was determining the will, and offer him for a sin offering. So the way that they decided which goat was going to be offered as a sin offering was through casting lots. And I'm wondering, did he use the Urim and the Thummim to do this?
I feel like it might have been specified since it's the two goats, as opposed to like if the Urim and Thummim was supposed to choose or make a distinction between which tribe was to do something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. It's a good question too.
Yeah. Because it did say that the definition of Urim and Thummim was used in determining the will of Yah.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, it's interesting. Further study will reveal more. But yeah, that would be my question. Was the Urim and Thummim used to? We know it was used to determine the will, but did Aaron use it in all situations? Because it said that he would bear this continuously. Let's see. Because I'm wondering, did Aaron ever take this off? Did he always have this on? Let me go back to Exodus 28.
I think those garments were made specifically to go into the temple.
Holy,
Right.
Or the holy place, I think it said. Oh yeah, verse 29 says, "And Aaron shall bear the names of the children of Israel in the breastplate of judgment upon his heart when he goeth in unto the holy place, and for memorial before the Lord continually."
So every time he went in there, he would have had to put it back on. I wonder if it was heavy. Like, would he keep it on all the? Well, I mean, and they were doing X amount of sacrifices per day, but that's. Can you go back up? Is it only the holy of the holies? Like,
not the holy of holies, the holy place. So you had the holy place, and then you had another area called the Holy of Holies, where Aaron went in once a year.
So he had to put it on every day for sure, just to go in there.
The holy place, yeah. Yeah.
They was working with solid, pure gold and metals and stones, so it was probably a little heavy, depending on how large it was.
So let's see this. I want to show this real quick. Hold on. Let me do this quick. Does this show? Oh no, this just shows where all the so the Ark of the Covenant is back here. The inner veil. There should be a better picture than this. Let's see. That labels everything. I think this shows a good picture of it. Okay, so you can see this. See where this purplish curtain is right here that's torn away?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
then see where the candlestick is? And then, so in this area, the holy place, where the menorah, this huge menorah, this other piece of item, and then this item here where the showbread is at, that's the holy place. But the Holy of Holies is behind this, where this,
Yeah.
you can see that, yeah?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. So I think when he talks about the holy place, because
That's what presence is.
yeah, I think Aaron was the one that had to light the menorah, change the showbread. But then once a year, he went into this area where the Shekinah, this light going up. Yeah.
So that's what it says. That's the Shekinah. That's the word. I said Shekinah.
Yeah, I didn't, I didn't do any correction. I just, I know what you meant. Oh yeah, I think this is a better picture here. I think this is a better picture to show right here. Oh, actually, this one is. Let me show this one. So yeah, you can see in this first area, so you can see he has on the breastplate and all of that, the garments right here. But then when he went to the other side where the Holy of Holies is, that was once a year. But in the holy place, he can come in here continuously. And then if we read in the book of Exodus chapter 29 and 30, it outlines like the duties that were given to the Levites. I think it's in maybe chapter 30. Tells you where all the different furniture was located, the size. Oh yeah, and Aaron shall burn thereon sweet incense every morning. So yeah, he had to go inside of the holy place because the altar of incense was not in the Holy of Holies, but it was in the holy place. So right here, Exodus 37, and Aaron shall burn thereon sweet incense every morning. When he dresseth the lamps, he shall burn incense upon it. And when Aaron lighteth the lamps at evening, so he went in the morning and the evening, he shall burn incense upon it, a perpetual incense before the Lord throughout your generations. You shall offer no strange incense thereof, no burnt sacrifice, nor meat, etc., etc. And Aaron shall make an atonement upon the horns of the, here it is, once in a year, with the blood of sin offering of the atonement. Shall make an atonement once in the year, you shall make atonement upon it throughout your generations. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very interesting.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, we're going to close down. I thought that was a very interesting Parashat tonight. And really getting back to the Brit Chadashah, there were certain levels of authority. And I think in Hebrews, it says, obey your leaders and submit to them, for they are keeping watch over your souls as those who will give an account. Let them do so with joy and not with groaning, for that would be of no advantage to you. And so, what do you think that's saying when it says, obey your leaders? Is he talking about Trump in them? Of course not.
Garage door.
All right. Blessings. Shalom to everyone. Blessings.
Blessing.